Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel, where we delve into the mind of a villain. In this entry, we'll be taking a look at Scar from the Lion King Remake. As with the other Disney live-action counterparts, this version of the character is a more devious and fleshed out one than his animated equivalent. But I would agree that Jeremy Irons still has the more captivating performance. Scar is a villain driven by his lust for power. Being the second-born son, Scar was destined to remain a prince, while he would watch his elder brother Mufasa ascend to the throne. Scar hates Mufasa out of jealousy, and that jealousy is manifest on several levels. He envies the position of the king for its power, and he's discontent with his position as a mere prince. In fact, that is the very first thing established about Scar, as his opening line in the film was to lament that life's not fair, and that he's left to beg for scraps while others live in the light. His first appearance involves him emerging from a dark cave, symbolic of his devious moral values. It is also likely that he is jealous of Mufasa's strength and appearance, as Scar has a leaner build, a thinner mane, and a paler skin. As he gripes, he is at the shallow end of the gene pool when it comes to brute strength. But beyond Mufasa's power and physicality, Scar also resents him as Sarabi, his love interest, chose Mufasa over him. It's plain to see that in Scar's eyes, Mufasa is the greatest obstacle to his happiness. Mufasa's kindness and forgiveness towards him likely only serves to deepen his contempt, since he himself is incapable of those traits. Scar's pride is another of his numerous flaws. He believes that he has the lion's share when it comes to brains, and therefore it makes him more fit to rule than his brother. From the very beginning, we notice that Scar is very eloquent, with a penchant for monologues. Scar's arrogance is then seen by the way he behaves around Mufasa. When Zazu warns Scar that he will have to answer for missing Simba's presentation, Scar defiantly replies that he answers to no one, blatantly rejecting the authority of the king. When Mufasa himself arrives, Scar doesn't even pay him the basic courtesy of looking at him when he talks. He rudely keeps his back turned against him, as if he was pretending that his brother wasn't even there. And when he speaks to Mufasa, he does so in a sarcastically insulting manner. Out of his jealousy and pride, we learn that Scar has actually challenged Mufasa for the title of king in the past, but lost to his brother. It's suggestible that Scar received the mark on his eye from his fight with Mufasa. Later in the film, when Scar strikes Mufasa to throw him off the edge, he specifically strikes him over his eye, as if for payback for his scar, which he has carried as a reminder of his defeat. As a result of this defeat, Scar has a constantly subdued appearance, living a quiet and isolated existence of shame as he walks about with a slouched posture, knowing that it is only through Mufasa's mercy that he hasn't yet been banished from the Pridelands. By extension, Scar also hates Simba, as he is Mufasa's successor and future king. But his rage is further fueled when he hears Simba telling him that in jest that one day he will have to give him orders. Scar is extremely manipulative, being able to shrewdly influence others to do his will. To his credit, he is able to exploit what others want to his advantage, whether it's appealing to Simba's pride and curiosity when he convinces him to visit the elephant graveyard, or when he bribes the hyenas with unlimited hunting, or when he starves the other lionesses to force Sarabi into accepting him. As Scar is physically outmatched by Mufasa, he has to leverage on the strength of others to eliminate him. This he does, trapping him and Simba in an army of wildebeests, an animal with such great strength that they can cause significant injury to even a lion. While Scar manages to eliminate Mufasa, he fails to tie up an important loose end. Not killing Simba himself was the one mistake in his otherwise flawless plan. The murder of Mufasa is undoubtedly his most evil act in the film, but a close second would be tricking Simba into believing that he killed his own father for many years. Although Scar believes he should be king, he lacks the character to wield such authority. Scar has a might is right mentality and believes that being king entitles him to whatever he wants, a sentiment he expresses to Sarabi. In contrast, Mufasa believes that a true king looks for what he can give, instead of what he can take, as seen in his speech to Simba. When Simba mentions that a king can do whatever he wants and take any territory, Mufasa corrects his wayward son, telling him that the Pride Lands do not belong to anyone, but that it will be his to protect one day. So in a sense, Scar is the mirror image of a young Simba. He is what Simba would grow up to become if he was left to his immaturity. Scar is a perfect embodiment of young Simba's attitude of taking whatever he wants. He is a tyrant at heart, only looking to seize the throne for his own selfish purposes. While Scar's motive is clearly wrong and evil, make no mistake about that. It is still somewhat understandable considering his present situation. Scar is an outcast who doesn't fit in with the Pride and has to live on scraps. At the start of the film, he is shown to be planning to eat a mouse and is hungry enough to want to eat Zazu. He is literally starving for food and figuratively for power. His excessive hunting now is an overcompensation for the lack of food in the past. As the king, although Scar now has the power he always desired, he is neither accepted nor respected by his pride of lions. In his attempt to take everything he wants Sarabi to be his mate and queen. Scar also knows that Sarabi is the cornerstone of the Pride, and that securing her loyalty would secure the loyalty of the rest of the other lions. However, she rejects him because of his utter selfishness. Under his tyranny, the Pride Lands were stripped bare of its natural resources and left destitute, resembling the former territory of the hyenas. Eventually, Scar's mistake with Simba comes back to haunt him. When faced with the notion of losing power, Scar is pathetic and cowardly. Being a hypocrite, Scar tries once again to make now adult Simba feel guilty for his father's death. It is somewhat poetic that for all his boasting about his cleverness, Scar's foolishness becomes his undoing. In this remake, Scar makes an inconsistency in his account of the stampede, which becomes an indirect admission of his guilt. Scar then acts in self-preservation, running away while leaving his minions to do the fighting for him. When given the opportunity to run away and never come back, he again resorts to underhanded means, literally throwing dust in Simba's eyes, perhaps symbolic of his previous attempts of misleading him. While fighting dirty is never noble, in Scar's defense, it is the smart thing to do, as he knows he is physically outmatched. He has to take any advantage he can get to level the playing field. At the end, Scar's backstabbing proves to be the final nail in his coffin. He shows to be someone who will say anything just to save himself, as he shifts the blame to the hyenas and labels them as revolting scavengers. His betrayal seals his fate, as he is then consumed by his own subjects as he pleads for mercy. Overall, Scar is a selfish ruler trying to fill a void with a false sense of power. His obsession with external power comes from his lack of inner strength. He desperately seeks external validation and control because he is weak and cowardly on the inside. Never realizing that true power lies in compassion, Scar cares for only himself and is unable to love anyone, which makes him unloved and unlovable. Thanks for watching, folks. If you like this video, subscribe to see more entries like these, and you can check out other characters covered here.